Alright guys, today we're going to do something I have not done before, but have heard of, so it should be quite possible, and that is forge weld without flux, without zero atmosphere, but using WD-40 as the anti-oxidation agent, I guess, and we'll see what happens. I have some 1095 and sawmill still here, 15 and 20. Got to clean these up a little bit more. I'm going to look at the billets stacked up and tack welded or spot welded together. Okay, we have the billet prepped, put together. This little 9-layer billet. Yeah, I need to grind those off, but I'll do that after I set the weld. So now I guess you just spray WD-40 on it. Soak it down so that it's going to get in between all the layers, which happens through surface tension, I believe it's called. Or is there a different term for that? I don't know. Can't remember. But anyway, it sucks it down in between the layers. And, you know, you want everything nice and tight together, like no gaps and uneven grinding on the surface of the steel, obviously. So I have a generous amount of WD-40 on this. And I have my forge set to neutral flame, maybe slightly oxidizing. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the forge and bring it up to heat, crank the heat up, get it up to welding temperature, and we'll try to set it in the press. I think it's up to temperature. I don't want to leave it in there any longer than necessary without the atmospherical protection of flux or, you know, a can or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and try to set the weld in the press right now. I brought it up to around welding heat again and kind of squished it again, drew it out. I'm going to go ahead and grind on the edges of this billet now. You can see right there on the edge, the very edge, there's kind of some variation. So I'm just going to grind it kind of flat and get onto some flush material, and just, that's one way to see pretty quickly whether or not the weld is set like it should. So it's not really flat, but it is cleaned off, but it is looking very promising. So the first weld on this billet with WD-40 looks really promising. So what I want to see now is let's repeat the process. Let's cut this into a couple pieces, 2 or 3 pieces, and restack it and do another weld on it and get ourselves up to 27 layers or so. Alright, have a second little billet prepped here. Little 2-inch pieces here, but go ahead and apply some more WD-40. It's kind of hot, but get some down in there. You're probably not supposed to breathe this. I should put a mask on. It's hot from the welding. Anyway, go ahead and put this back in the forge and proceed. Have the billet drawn out to about 5/30 seconds, maybe 3/16 of an inch thick. Can't talk. What is that? 8 inches? I don't know. Somewhere in there. 10 inches. I'm gonna let it cool down, and then I'm gonna grind out a blade because everything looks pretty good. There was one little spot on this end that at the end didn't seem to have. Well, there was a little pocket. It's not uncommon. It's pretty common that your ends on your forge welds are kind of scrap, but we'll make sure that that doesn't continue any further. And the proof is when you can grind through those layers and really see over the entire piece of steel what's going on. Alright, so I have our blade rough ground all cleaned up, and at this stage of the game on a Damascus blade, what you should be able to see is absolutely nothing. It should look like just a mono steel bar. You can barely discern layers if you hold it in the light just right. If you may have gotten it a tiny bit warmer during the grind, and I believe that's the way the nickel in the 15N20 steel reacts to heat a little bit differently. I believe, I'm not sure, but that's it. There are no holes, no voids, no cracks, no dark spots, nothing like that. And that's what we have here. So yeah, I'm gonna call this a success. It's looking really good. So let's check the pattern real quick and see what we have here. There it is, and that's gonna change a little bit as we go. There's still more to grind off, and that's gonna cut through the layers a little bit more and affect the final pattern, but that gives you an idea of what we're working with here. So that's 27 layers, give or take, depending on 1 or 2 layers that probably got ground off. But it's going to be a neat little blade.